Welcome everybody to the Peak Radio Association September 2022 meeting. I'm Paul N0 VLR, chair of the board. And I'd like to, as we always like to, is start with a round of introductions. Let's see, on my top left corner, we have Andy. How about you? Go ahead.
Hi, Andy, W7AAU. I'm the treasurer, and I'm happy to be a member.
Thank you, Andy. Happy to have you. Next up is Olin.
Hello, I'm Olin, WA7YXY from Corvallis.
Thank you, Olin. Olin will have some updates for us later on contesting. How about Don and Betsy?
Don, W7DMR, North Corvallis.
K7BTS, just slightly to the north of North Corvallis. Other location.
Thank you, Don and Betsy. Anna, you're up.
I'm Annalise McDermott. You can call me Anna. I'm November Hotel 6 Zulu, and I am in the metropolis of Lebanon, Oregon.
Represent Lynn County. All right. Very good. Paul B., go ahead.
Paul Branchfield, W7PEB. I'm the southern contingent from Douglas County, between Roseburg and Winston.
Thank you for joining us, Paul. Glad to see you at the last event too. It was really nice to put some faces to the names. How about you, Steve? Mute.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Steve, KW7F, and I live in Northwest Corvallis.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Tyler, you're up.
Ty Parsons, WB7DD in Southeast Corvallis.
Excellent. Ted, Snappy Dresser, you're up.
Good evening, all. This is Ted Mitchell, W7RTM, west side of Philomath, or county of there in whatever. Have a nice night.
Okay, thanks, Ted. Good to have you in here. Ted's our secretary. Anthony.
Anthony, KE7OSN, coming from the rural Marion County.
All right. Good sounding audio there. Putting us all to shame here, Anthony. Larry, how about you? Mute.
I'm Larry. I'm AF7NU in Northeast Corvallis.
Thank you, Larry. I do appreciate everybody leaving it on mute while we have this, because there's a lot of background noise. In fact, I'm going to shut my door in a minute. And so I do appreciate it, but just hit the mute off button when you're ready to speak. Mr. Drew, sous chef.
Drew Terrell coming in from Albany, Oregon, W3HES.
All right, thanks, Drew. You and Anthony are neck and neck for audio reports. Thank you. Scott, you're up.
Okay, Scott, KF7GGN, in I guess Northwest Corvallis. So very close neighbors with Steve, KW7F, and with Olin, WA7YXY.
Awesome. Good to have you, Scott. And Al, if you can, do not break safety laws. Hit mute and introduce.
This is Al, WB7RAB Corvallis, currently just turned onto Highway 20 from 101. Headed back to Corvallis from Newport, and I'll probably drop in and out as I lose cell service, but I'm here while I can be.
I appreciate it, Al. And yes, you are absolutely 100% correct. I totally agree that you will drop in and pick back up again as you can. All right, excellent. Thank you all for being here tonight, and appreciate your participation and your interest in forwarding the hobby. So let's go with secretary's report. Ted, do you have anything to announce to the group?
Well, I did send the minutes from last month, the August minutes, out this weekend for your approval prior to the meeting. If there's any comments, additions, deletions, or anything you would just like to yell at, just let me know. W7RTM@ARRL.net. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. And I think I just looked at it here. And I think I didn't find anything wrong with it when I looked at it there. And we will be talking about all of those things pretty much, except for the program. We will be talking about all of those things as old action items or old business. So thank you for putting that in front of me. Okay. All right. Any comments on the meeting minutes? Okay, I would presume that they're going to be accepted as written, Ted. Okay. All right, let's see. Next up, we've got the treasurer's report. And I think, you know, every time I go to share my screen, I can't unshare it. So maybe I won't share it. Andy, I'll let you talk through it.
Okay. Treasurer's report for November 16, 2022. Our OSU checking account is $1,870.47. Our savings account is $2,481.74. So our total bank account is $4,352.21. Our PayPal balance is $187.69. And cash on hand is $12.26. So our total assets are $4,552.16. That's it.
Any comments or questions on what was just given by Andy?
Did we already pay Paul out of that for the supplies for the picnic?
Yes, the picnic supplies were $215, and I wrote Paul a check.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. No, good question. And now that I know not everybody can be there so when I estimated the numbers for that, it seemed appropriate, but you know, there was some leftovers, but let it be known they did not go to waste. Okay. All right. So let's see what's up here. So, I keep changing I've got 3 monitors, but you'd think I could really control the agenda, and you would be only half right. Okay. So old business or events. I will bring up the first one, which is the picnic POTA. So for those who weren't able to make it, we had a fusion of a picnic at the Sarah Helmick, is it State Park, Anthony? Is that what it is, a state park? I think so. It's actually historical. It's one of the first state parks, or it is the first state park to be recognized in Oregon. So I found some interesting, news about that, and I thought that was really cool. And while we were there, several members of W7PRA brought their radios. I want to thank them for that extra effort, and set up stations and activated the Sarah Helmick State Park. There was plenty of room. There was plenty of food, everybody brought their own chairs and had a great time. And if you saw the email that I sent out to the Reflector, we were recognized in the Radio Operators Association of Dallas, or otherwise known as Rhodes, right up there in Dallas. Mike W7RAS is a looks like a vice president of sorts in that group. I kept forgetting about that, but he's an active member, and so our pictures that I shared with the group ended up in their newsletter. And so if you haven't gotten a chance to look at that I sent out to the Reflector, it's a nice, really nice newsletter, and I'll refer to it tonight later when we talk about some upcoming Hamfests and whatnot. So I'll go around the horn and see if anybody wants to say anything about the picnic and POTA, and a good, bad, or indifferent, and should we do it again, and et cetera, et cetera. So jump ball, anybody?
I think we should do it. picnic again, especially since we haven't been getting together for meetings. And I enjoyed the picnic thoroughly.
Good. Thank you, Andy.
I second that.
I'll third.
Okay. Any comments on the food? Thank you, Betsy. I got that. I'll count you twice because Don's sitting right next to you. So you guys are proximity votes. Sorry you couldn't make it, but you heard about all the fun we had. That's what's called life happens. So no worries. Anything, would you do anything different? I mean, I can ask this later, right? Because we don't want to take up all of our time here, but I would look for input to say, you know, hey, more this, more that, less this, less that, you know, that kind of thing. Time of year, we can certainly do one in the fall. It's going to be a little cooler, you know, certainly not going to be swatting any hornets, you know, at that time, but nonetheless, a little bit cooler. So anybody else?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, even with my long drive. And, you know, it's good to be able to actually see people and talk to them and put real faces together instead of a Zoom face.
Nice. Thank you, Paul. And if we have one soon, I won't have to mail these out to Paul because he can just come and get them because he left them there. So his hot dog tongs. And I do appreciate everybody putting their hands in and giving, you know, many hands make work light. And we'll go from there. Hello to Andy. Thank you for joining. Looks like you're on one or two mutes. I can't tell which one. No audio yet.
There he is.
Yeah, I see you, but we can't hear you. If you want to work on it, we'll come back to you. That's fine. Yeah, just chime in whenever. So we were just talking about the picnic park on the air. Did anybody enjoy the park on the air aspect? Was anybody first timer? I know I was. I've never done a park on the air, and it was interesting to watch and to see some of the activity just rise out of nowhere when you were announcing that you were a park on the air. So it was like you became your own little DX island.
Paul, if I can jump in, I just simply regret the fact that I didn't get on the air, and I appreciate the fact that Annalise brought even paddles for me, and I was drooling, you know, over those and the flex, and but I was busy talking and chatting with people, so I never got a chance. Plus, I had Bill with me, and we had to leave early.
Yep. No worries. And it was quite a backlog, Scott. I agree with you. It was a backlog of just face-to-face communication. There could have been a volcano erupting in the background and we'd still be there sitting there chatting, just, you know, catching up with everybody. It's been a while. So maybe next time we can, we can have a little bit more focus on that. And so anyway, it was a great event.
Oh no, I'm not bringing paddles again. You're dead to me, Scott.
I had a feeling. I'll bring my own.
I'll bring two.
I'll probably bring my own.
I'll start a spark gap generator for you. Okay.
Yeah, probably
you can just throw hash across the entire.
There you go.
Light, you know.
Somebody will pick us
spectrum.
up. We're on every frequency there is. Yeah.
Do I just need to motivate you like at 7QP? Is that what we need?
Yeah, you know how it is. Bring some chocolate cookies. That'll do it.
All right, great.
2 coconut halves and a string.
Very nice. Okay, so any other old business? And then we'll move on to after old business. We'll bring it over to Olin. Is he still? Let me look at my pictures here. There he is. Okay, good. So any other old business anybody wants to share that have happened since the last time we met?
This is Al. I just have a quick question about a repeater.
Go ahead.
Anybody know what's happening with the Newport repeater? Is it linked? Is it gone? It's website says it's there, but I haven't been able to get it all summer.
Yeah, they're having problems with the Newport repeater. It's been on and off the air. And I think that it's now down for a while. And the difficulty is in squeezing in time for Chris to get out there and take care of it. You know, he's busy like we all
Oh yeah, I
are.
know it's quite a job, and I've been over here a few times. Well, this summer on and off, and I just never found it alive. So, but the website said it was there, so I never knew. Anyway, thanks. I'm out.
Yep. And though I don't have it handy, I started looking it up on my phone, Al. There is and this is what Chris told us a while ago, and I just happened to remember it, is if you join the Facebook repeater group for W7, is it W7PRA or Peak? Somebody help me out with this, but if you join that group, he announces everything that's going on as it's happening. And that
Yeah,
will,
I don't do Facebook, but I look at the
okay,
other stuff. So
sure. No, that's fair.
so
Fair
I'm
enough.
just out in the ozone. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Good question. All right. Any other old business? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. If anybody thinks of any, because we sparked a topic, feel free to chime in towards the end. Okay, let's go
I believe
to,
that,
oh, go ahead.
I believe the last time I brought up some sort of a link to for a web page so that people would know when we meet and so on.
Yep.
The w7pra.com has a very small link, PRA Club website coming soon. And I don't know whether we want to try to hang on to that website or have our own website with a link to it, and just have some basic stuff like meeting schedule and who to contact about joining in meetings and so on.
Thank you, Tyler. And I have not forgotten it. What I was hoping to do is sort of build foundation blocks here, and let's all try to get together and then list some of the things that we would like to improve. This is one of them. It's a big one to improve. The other thing too is I wanted to gather some things so that I could maybe request a meeting with some folks that are members that aren't usually here on the monthly meeting, and try to get some ideas from them. I did get some access passwords from Vaughn, who I can't find him right now, but that's okay. About some of our things like eham.net and some other logins for, I think, Google Docs or something like that. So, but I did not get any passwords for I thought I was getting passwords for the website. I did not. He says, no, I don't have those. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Well, that's the one that I really needed. So, but yeah, I would like to come up with a list of things that we would like to fix and some proposals, and then have a little, quasi business meeting with some folks that have, been long time members, or maybe have just sort of fallen off. So that is like the biggest shining star you've mentioned. So thank you. And I have some firsthand experience with that, because I work with Ron, AE4JL, and he's like, if I hadn't bumped into you, I wouldn't even have known that you were here, because I saw him walking into work with an HT, with a big 19-inch, floppy, antenna going up while he's trying to open up the door with his badge. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're a ham. Okay. So that's how we met. And so that's how we became a member of the club. So, but yeah, he's like, I just couldn't find you guys. And so anyway, point taken, Tyler. And it is going to be on the agenda here within 30 to 45 days. Okay, any other old business? Okay. All right, let's move on to Olin. He said he would give us an update on some contests and anything else you'd like to share, Olin.
Okay. Olin, WA7YXY. I got a list of a few things going on in October. The first of which is one of the real big QSO parties, which is the CQP, California QSO Party. It's on the first weekend in October. And the object there is to try and get a clean sweep. California has 58 counties. And they're also looking for DX and out of California. That's kind of fun. And they have a bunch of prizes. And they award things for certificates for like first in Oregon and whatnot. So you got a chance of getting something if you compete, but it's still fun. And then on the 8th and 9th of October, there are 4 QSO parties. One is near and dear to Paul's heart. That's the Pennsylvania QSO party. Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and South Dakota all have theirs on that weekend. Nevada doesn't get a lot of participants, but being a native Nevadan, I'd appreciate it if people maybe gave it a stab. And then at the end of the month, we have the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband DX contest on the 29th and 30th. That's a 48-hour contest that starts on the Friday of that weekend at 1700 and goes through Sunday at 1700 Pacific Daylight Time. And then if you're really interested in the contest, I highly recommend the WA7BNM, Whiskey Alpha 7 Bravo November Mike. He has a contest page that's complete and it's easy to use, and you can divide it out by types. If you're, for example, a QRPer, then you can look that up. If you're a QSO party fan, you can have it print out just QSO parties and another number of other activities. Or if you're just CW, it'll print out CW contests. So that's a useful tool. I just finished the Route 66 on the air special event. I always enjoy that one. Give it a stab. Haven't made a clean sweep yet, but I did the best that I've ever done on it this last weekend, or last week. It goes a whole week. I got 19 out of the 21 stations, so I thought I did pretty good. So that's it for me.
All
Any
right.
questions?
Thank you, Olin. That's congratulations on besting yourself on that regard. And anybody have any questions for Olin on contests?
Real quick, Olin, I didn't keep up. I've got Pennsylvania, Nevada, South Dakota, and what was the fourth one?
Arizona.
Thank you.
I think you can bundle them all together on N1MM on the same log. I'm not quite sure how I did that last time, but so it's either that or you set up a separate file for each one and keep flopping back and forth. So that's it. And then of course the California QSO party is the first weekend of October, if you didn't get that.
Yeah, but that you're right, Ted. That weekend after the California QSO party is like it's like a complete traffic jam. I'll tell you what, from Pennsylvania trying to reach the West Coast, you need all the power and the aluminum you can afford, because you got to get through all those other states that are in between. So anyway, I'm sure the opposite is probably true. Thank you, Olin, for that. And Ted, do you have any other questions for Olin, or are you all good?
Yes, I'm good for now. Thank you, Olin.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So I'm going to throw a couple of things at everybody in case they're interested. I'm going to take the upcoming events. And so I'm going to steal this right from the road report that I sent out to you, everybody, as a link. I'm just going to mention it in case you didn't read it and you're interested in a Hamfest or something. There is a high desert first annual high desert Hamfest in Redmond, and it's October 1st, and that's I'm going to spell it out. Hotel India Delta Alpha Romeo Golf.org. HIDARG.org if you want to find out more information about that. Anytime we can give, kudos to folks starting up a Hamfest, I think it's a great idea. You can see I'm not going to read all the details. They tell you where, what time and the location, and if you want to be a vendor, etc. There is, and maybe Anna, you know something about this. There's a Pacific Northwest VHF conference on October the 7th and 8th in Salem. Do you have any information on that, or am I just, or is that outside your space now?
I don't have any particular information. I've been to Pacific Northwest VHF once when it was in Bend. It kind of rotates around between Washington and Oregon so that they move it around and get fair with it. It tends to be a little bit more technical of a conference than your typical Hamfest or anything. It's much more of a conference format. You're not going to see the vendor tables or anything like that there. It's much more presenting presentations on interesting new things that are happening in VHF, and kind of more VHF UHF above 50 megahertz, right? So
yep.
From what I remember, it's been a few years since I went. I thought about going myself, but I just don't have time this year. I've been to tons of Hamfests already.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and this one talks about presentations, section reports, rovers, awards, microwaves. I think microwaves is the topic, not so much the thing that we're going to heat our food in. And so, all right, getting punchy here. So then, of course, there's Swap Toberfest, the one that's the closest to us, and that we've, I think several of us have even carpooled to. And I'd love to do that again. That's a fun event. October 15th. So mark that down on your calendar. It's if you want to be a vendor, the registration due date deadline is September 20th. That would be tomorrow. Perfect timing. So don't say I never gave you anything.
If you have just a couple things you want to sell, I will have a table at Swaptoberfest. So you're more than welcome to throw it on my table
Awesome.
and get rid of it. So I'll have some stuff there as well.
Thank you, Anna. And anybody knows how to get a hold of, how can we get a hold of you directly, if you don't mind giving your email?
nh6z@nh6z.net.
All right, thank you. Looks like there's some pretty good raffle prizes. All VHF, UHF, but nonetheless. And there is, just reading it really quickly. Yep, there's some things happening tonight. I'm going to skip that because it's already sort of gone by. So there's sort of the upcoming events. And again, I stole it right out of the road report there. So thank you to Mike, WA7SKG, I think it is SKG. He's also if anybody's interested in Park on the Air, he is the 7th district coordinator for Park on the Air. And you can read about that in the newsletter as well. He tried to make it to ours, but he had some other things that were way more important to attend to. Okay. Anybody else have any upcoming events or anything that sparked your interest when Olin and I mentioned those things? Okay. All right, new business. Upcoming events. We already covered the contest. I'm going to scratch that out. Items of interest. Okay, I'm just updating my agenda here. So first of all, we got together, we did our Park on the Air, and it was great to bump into each other. I think that was the spark that says that, hey, it would be great to get back together again. I'm really looking for some input either at this meeting or even after, just by contacting me via email, my call sign at arrl.net, or my first name last name at outlook.com. Either one, they both get to me. I'm really looking for some input as to what kind of choices do we have for getting together. So the one that we already know is Tommy's, where we've been in the past in Corvallis. And I believe, unless they've changed it recently, according, when I checked in May, there was still a $50 a night, over and above any food that we ordered kind of charge for the room downstairs. The room upstairs is free. However, it's too small for us to really do anything. We would be packed in there like sardines. I would not recommend. So does anybody have any suggestions now that they could either they know of or that they could check into?
Well, I mentioned to you the, excuse me, about the possibility of Imagine Coffee. Excuse me, I'm still checking into it, but they have a couple of rooms that would be, I think now that you mentioned the size of the room, these might be a little too small for, like, say, well, it wouldn't be that bad, but if anybody's uncomfortable being too close together, in a closed space, they may not be suitable. However, the main area for customers may be the thing, because they have a bunch of tables already there, and it's a pretty big space. So I'm still looking into it, but I can get back to you as soon as I know how much they may charge. I'm sure it would be a lot less than $50 if they charge anything. So anyway, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, great. And one thing I have for you, Scott, is I know that they close early.
They're open till 5 now, but that doesn't matter. I could, I've been there 8 years. They trust me very well.
Yeah.
So we can work, the normal club meeting time. No problem.
All right, great. If you can get back to me, and then we'll gather some ideas. And if I find that there's some things that we could do before the next meeting, that would be great. I'd love to have this meeting, in person, the next meeting, if we can push it forward. So I will not sit on this and wait for the next meeting to vote on it. We'll just put it out there, especially if there's no cost. Thank you. Anybody else have any ideas?
Yeah,
Or go ahead, Andy.
I suggest we look into possibly using the picnic pavilion at the Corvallis Park, where we have field day, closer to the river, as a good place to have like a picnic get together meeting. And it's roofed over, so we don't have to worry about inclement weather. But we should do it when it was warm. That's all.
Okay, great. And we can certainly do that if we try to do one more. Doesn't have to be POTA, but we can do picnic, right? It depends on what we feel like doing. We can do, maybe we can do one or more of those, one more of those, excuse me, before the cooler weather settles in. Don, was that you who chimed in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for a one-time event, you may not care, but Corvallis Parks charges a pretty hefty fee for reserving a picnic shelter.
Okay.
You probably wouldn't want to do it for an ongoing. I think it's more than $50 last time I checked.
Okay.
I can look into availability at the Elks Club. I'm a member of the Lions Club, and we're currently meeting at the Elks Club. I know we've got a couple of Elks in our Lions group. I can see what that entails. They always seem to have space. So
nice. I didn't even think about that, Drew. Thank you. Is that in right on 9th Street, or is that somewhere else?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you please check into that and get back to me?
Yeah, we've got the fall festivals this weekend, and I'm working at the Burger Barn all day Saturday. So come out and get a burger. I have to throw a pitch in there.
All right. Hey, you know what? Put it out there. I mean, what the heck? No, that would be. That's a really good idea, especially if they've got a larger space to offer. And so so we are the third Mondays of the month without having to change anything, right? Now, if we're suffering for space, we could try to see if there's a better night to do this, but I'd really like to keep it on the third Mondays because we're all expecting it to be there. So if you could check,
that would be my goal.
Drew, awesome. Thank you, sir.
The Lebanon group has been meeting at LBCC here in Lebanon lately. I don't know where the connection is with that and who to contact, but I can try and find out at our Thursday lunch meeting, who's in there. I would imagine there's like a amateur radio balloon club there that one of the faculty advisors is in the CS department as a ham, and can hook up with something like that. We might be able to do it at the Benton Center there, if we're doing it in Corvallis, but it's just an idea. No idea if it's feasible or not.
Okay, do you know how to get a hold of Vaughn, Anna?
I've got his phone number. I text back and forth with him. He's not the one that's been working that out though.
No.
It's Merlin over here.
Okay.
I think is who got that on rails. So I can probably get a name
Okay.
from Merlin and on Thursday and let you know.
Okay, great. Thank you. These are all great ideas. And again, I'm just coming back into Pacific Northwest. So I'm like the last person you want to ask me to go find a place. So that's why I need this group effort here. Thank you. Anybody else have any ideas?
I've got a few possibilities. So not that far from Tommy's is Common Fields. For those that are familiar with Corvallis, but not necessarily recently, it's the old transmission shop there on 3rd Street.
Yep.
So most of their seating is outdoors, but most of that's also heated. So that would be an option there. They got food trucks and the tap house inside. Another one is it's a little bit smaller, so it'd be bigger than the upstairs room at Tommy's, but smaller than the downstairs. Block 15 at their Southtown location has their barrel room, which is reservable. I think it fits 20 something people or so. So depending on how many we had there. And another one that comes to mind, and I'm not entirely sure how busy they are and if they've got would have enough extra capacity for us. But in Albany, Calipuya Brewing has a large semi-outside courtyard thing, and they also have food and drink available on site. So a few places to look at there.
Nice. Thank you for that. I'm going to sort of not vote, but say I'd like to put an extra star next to anything that we have on in indoor facilities, especially as we get into the cooler weather. I think that's probably going to take the precedence, and it will bring the people together. But once we get into the warmer weather back in the spring and the summer, I think maybe it would be great if we had 2 different locations, right? We could just say, hey, over here in the cooler weather, we're here, and over the warmer weather, we're here. Maybe that's something we can work on. But thank you. These are great ideas.
Just brainstorming kind of off of the LBCC thing. We might want to check out 509J too. I mean, scout troops meet in the schools and things like that. There may be a way that we can make that happen. Just have no clue whether that's feasible or not, but just a wild idea.
Another place that's a possibility, and you may have mentioned this already. I had to kind of attend to something when we were first talking there, Paul, is Chinchimney. The former senior center is now the Corvallis, community center, and I've been to some pretty big funerals there, so they have room, and so that's impossible. I have no idea what they charge though.
Yeah. Well, Steve, if and again, this is not a committal thing. This is anything, but if you could just scratch the surface on just asking, and the only constraint we're going to start with is, let's say 35, let's just say 35 people, right? Max, because I've never seen anything much bigger than that, even on White Elephant Christmas, right? And just third Mondays and 7 to 9:30 or 6:30 to 9 or something like that, anything that we can accommodate. If they close down the doors at 7:45 and that's all there is to it, then it's kind of a no-go. But if they're open, if they let us shut the doors behind us at 9 p.m. ish, then that's a winner. Those are the requirements. Thank you.
I'll throw out another idea.
Thank you, Olin. Go ahead.
Well, if you wanted to say, if you could make a deal with Tommy's, maybe have a in-person meeting every other month, starting in February, so that December would be one of those months.
Yep.
And then the other 6 meetings have them on Zoom. So that would reduce the price to $300 for the
Mhm.
year. So that's just an idea.
No, I appreciate it. Not to bring this up to a vote. However, if I could strike a deal with Tommy's to reduce it down to half, if we were to commit to a full year, how many people would be interested in going back to where we came from? Or should we really take a look and say, you know, okay, I'm seeing a couple of interested hands, bird in the hand
Yeah.
worth two in the bush, right? So
I like Tommy's, but I'm also happy to look into other options.
I think we should still look into other options. And I think what I'll do is I'll take the action to go down to Tommy's, order my usual 2 Long Island iced teas, and then grab the owner by the collar and say, okay, now listen, this is what we'd like to do. and see how that goes. And I'll talk to, and oh, by the way, our favorite waitress, Angie, has moved on to another location. So she's no longer at Tommy's. So I need to, work my magic some other way. She cannot help us. Okay, great, awesome. Any other, and I'm not going to belabor the point, if there's any other input that you think of and you're willing to go check it out and find out, if this is a possible or feasible thing, just go ahead, send it to me and I'll collect it. And then as soon as we have enough information, we'll try to put it out for some sort of a vote, or at least a show of hands of interest. Thank you very much. Okay, a couple of other fun things. So I just dragged Scott into this. So as some of you know, if you were at the picnic in Poda, I recently bought a travel trailer, and which I plan to not freeze my butt off on the 7QP. So that was one of my driving forces. And so he and I are going to go do a radio camp dry run, including boondocking, which is like without power, without, it's basically self-contained. And we're going to try to go somewhere and operate, a multi-station event and try to, test our water consumption, our power consumption, our overall comfort level, and any, tweak out any sort of RFI issues or any interference that we have. So we're going to do that probably in the next, Scott, I think maybe 6 weeks, somewhere in now in the next 6 weeks or so. We're going to try real hard to find a time to do that. And thanks, Olin. You gave us an idea. The CQ worldwide phone or single sideband contest might be just the time to do it. So maybe we'll align it with that. So that's kind of a fun thing. If anybody has any tips for doing that, running a 2-station from sort of a campsite like that, not a registered campsite, but somewhere where we can go and just be out of the way of anybody, just email me. That'd be great. One of the things that I want to do, and this is again working with Ron at work, he's given me a lot of feedback, even when I haven't asked for it. And he said, I joined the club and I just don't know what now, right? So I want to put together some sort of a welcome packet. It just has to be an email, just something I can just quickly send out, either thanks for, continued support. Here's a reminder of here's the access to some of our things. We have a monthly meeting on Zoom, this and that, and we're going to try to keep up with that. Here's some, list of repeaters. I know, Ted, a while back, you started putting together a CSV file of all the PRA ones. I know those are hard to keep up with. I have the ones that I have, but I don't know as if they're all working right now. But so anything that's sort of like a list of resources that we can help field members a little bit more welcome. And so that's coming.
A quick note, Paul, is since Chris Navarro has restructured the site, my software is no longer working.
Okay.
So I haven't in the past had an awful lot of requests for that other than yourself.
Okay.
So I haven't extended a whole lot of energy in fixing it.
Okay. Great.
so you know.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. And that might be the reason why some of my repeaters don't key up. So I actually have the RT radio system for my 7100 as well as my Kenwood 7D700. And so they're easily exported, but if I don't know they're working, then I'm not going to share them with anybody. But that's one of the things I'd like to again, talk to as sort of an agenda item for a business to business kind of relationship. I want to get back to talk to Chris. I know I've been out of pocket for about 5 years now. And so I'm going to reintroduce myself and hopefully we can get together and talk some good ham things. Yes, Steve.
I just checked in Timothy, they've got that nicely laid out. You find the information. The room, they have multiple rooms, but let's see. The one that will hold 40 seated or 90 standing for tax exempt organizations is on Monday through Thursdays, which is the cheapest, is $23 an hour.
Okay, that's like Tommy's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's on the equivalent par. So thank you for checking in on at least knowing where we stand on that.
Hey,
Okay.
Paul,
Yes, Andy.
a while ago, we sort of articulated a policy in the board meeting of making sure that only the club president communicate with Chris about club business, because we've had some miscommunications happen when people were chiming in and sometimes Chris had gotten confused about what it is we wanted to talk about.
Yep.
So I just wanted to encourage you to take the ball and run with that
Yes.
and let everybody else know to leave you the task of coordinating with Chris.
Yes, thank you. And actually, I had a kind of a process for doing that. I wanted to get us together, have some fun. We did that. Get us together, talk about how to get together, organically, face to face again, and then come up with some things that we'd like to, that we've seen that need to be improved. And if there's anything that Chris can do to help us improve that, or at least, communicate and align our communication together, then I want to bring it all together at once. And so it's not that I'm, avoiding the topic that Tyler brought up, which is really important, right? It's the front facing, where's our webpage, do we have control of it and all that stuff. It's very important. But I want to go in and I want to ask certain questions and be able to speak authoritatively about it. So these are the kinds of things that are coming up right after this. Yeah, thank you. Good point, Andy. Okay, let's move off of meeting location because I want to give time for Anna. We've got a couple of things. One of the things that I want to improve on is what I call the tribal knowledge of the club. And, Anthony knows some, Mike knows some, there's some history that even Vaughn knows that nobody else knows. I mean, there's some things that we just haven't really collected and put together in a history file of sorts. So I'm trying to slowly find out where these skeletons are buried and putting it all together and making it available to club officers and then be able to share it when needed. So that's another thing that I'm working on. Okay, any new business? I know I've taken up quite a bit of time here, but I had a lot on my mind. So anything that people have that they'd like to talk about, any new business, upcoming events, items of interest, proud moments? Did you make a, I don't know, did you hit an award? Did you make a really cool QSO? Anything of interest?
Yeah, I got mixed DXCC and digital DXCC completed last month. So
awesome.
I'm on
So
my way to
that's
that.
the 100 countries, right? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is fabulous.
Got 100 countries on FT8 and more than 100 on mixed. So I'm working on the individual bands now, and we'll see where we get after that.
Very nice. I have a friend back in PA who's been a ham for 55 years, and he just got his 9-band DXCC. Whew. That was epic.
I have to admit, I did it in cheater mode because FT8 just sometimes is like shooting fish in a barrel, but I'll take it. I'm also the one that got 5 words a minute my extra, so I'll take help wherever I can get it.
That's okay. And this friend of mine, he buys a radio and he puts the microphone in the drawer and then he just pulls out his key and that's the end of that. So he's just a CW guy. But excellent. That's awesome. Anybody else?
Well, it was not a big deal. Last weekend, I helped out the American Legion Post in Albany. They did a special events station in commemoration of 9/11 for the first responders. So they, as you guys all know, Albany's really big with military parades, and they have a big 9/11 event there on 9/11. So that weekend, I know people at the post there. And so they said they already have a ham station. There's several hams that are members of the post, and they wanted to do this special events, and they got themselves a special events call sign K7H. I forget it had some. There was they chose that in connection for 9/11. I can't remember what it meant, but in any case. Yeah, we didn't make that many contacts, but when we were also dealing with the Route 66 people, so actually we made some contacts with some of those stations, and some of them actually, when we told them what the event was, what we were doing, they actually asked because there was, like, for instance, one Route 66 guy who had a pileup, and he just said, okay, I want everybody to take 1 minute to back off and just let's give 1 minute silence for 9/11.
That's nice.
So, it wasn't big. Like I said, it was just a few contacts here and there, but it was cool because we set up actually Vaughn helped us out. He has the Lynn County Sheriff's communication trailer. So he brought that out to the parking lot there, and we set up a couple radios in there. They set up some antennas, and we were able to really get out pretty nicely. And so the only thing that happened was we were going to continue on Sunday. But that night, somebody came over and graffitied all over the communications trailer, so we had to clean that off. So I killed basically Sunday. But anyway, that was the main thing that I participated in that I could kind of brag about. So
well,
I do that every year.
That's great and disappointing at the same time, Scott.
What's that?
I said that's great that you did it and disappointing at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's all
that people just they won't just be, certain individuals won't keep quiet about their disagreement with a member, something to remember our fallen by, and that's
right.
just ignorance.
Well, what they did have, they got a picture of the guy who did it because they had security cameras at the parking lot there, and luckily, so they went through the security footage, and they did see this guy come up on a skateboard. Actually, he graffitied. There was a park behind the post, and he got the bathrooms, and he also did something in Heritage Mall. He got a couple of stores there. So anyway, they got a picture of this guy, so they sent it to the sheriffs, and maybe by now the guy's been arrested. I don't know.
Awesome, good. Yeah. Technology is wonderful like that.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for volunteering. That's awesome.
They do this every year. If anybody ever wants to participate in next year or whatever,
Well, Scott, this is one of those things that this is a great reminder for everybody. If you hear about these things, put them on the reflector, right? And just,
I should have done that.
Where, when, what, who to contact, and then just let it go. And then people can, as long as it's, not like, oh, by the way, tomorrow, can you, even though we're supposed to be emergency responders, we do like a little advance notice.
I could next time I'll do that. I'll a couple of weeks in advance.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to share? Okay, very good. So we're at a good stopping point. We got 4 minutes until 5 minutes, whatever, until the top of the hour. And Anna has agreed to give us a presentation tonight. I know Mike isn't here, but it's good to rotate this around. In fact, I want to put this as an open invitation. If you have anything you would like to share educationally, or even just something you've experienced that you'd like to share some firsthand experience with, hey, I did this with that, I did Islands on the Air, I did some interesting thing, please contact Mike, because he's sort of, always doing this, and I'm sure he'd like to see, some other participation. I know I've tried to do it in the past and years ago, but nonetheless. Now I think the only thing I can offer is how to hoist a line up in a 70-foot, Ponderosa or something. And first thing I do is, call my buddies with a launching tool. So other than that, I haven't really been doing any activity.
But ideally it would be ham related. My history of slimy toad snails, no good.
Yeah, probably less of a participation on that one, unless you're ready to cook them up on like on a Blackstone or something, and then it would be really entertaining.
They do taste great.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, well, with no other further ado, I'm going to close the official meeting portion, and we'll go ahead to the training event, the educational portion of our meeting. And Anna, since I don't even know the topic, because you kind of threw one out the other day and you said something to do with this, but I don't want to preclude you.